Okay, welcome back to our podcast, guys. Today we will be talking about the play Othello and sort of like analyzing like the themes and how like everything comes together with the characters. So I sort of first wanted to set this podcast off with like sort of like a quote from like the beginning. It's the opening. It's starts with "Never tell me. I take it much unlikely that thou, Iago, who hast my purse, as if the strings within shouldn't know this." And then Iago says, "But you'll not hear me. If I ever did dream of such a matter, abhor me." So like this is like the first opening line, like paragraphs of the play of Othello, and it's sort of Rodrigo and Iago sort of talking about, sort of like their contempt of Othello and how they don't really like him that much. And so my question for all y'all and like everyone tuning in is sort of like how does like the opening scene of like them sort of talking about Othello sort of highlight, sort of foreshadow like the future themes of like betrayal and like manipulation.
I'll go first. So, in the opening scenes, whenever Iago and Rodrigo are talking, it's very evident that like Iago will always pounce on the opportunity to manipulate Rodrigo because he's so gullible. Like if you wrote gullible on the ceiling, he would look up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would say that.
So that's I think this like it just foreshadows his ever growing and deep hatred for Othello because he just wants to manipulate to like get things his way. You feel me?
So then, like the opening scene, like sets the tone for like the whole like it like shows like the true characters, like it shows their true intentions.
Yeah, it
I
shows
agree
like
with
their true selves when they're not facing Othello, because like usually later in the play when they
It
face
doesn't show
Othello,
their
they're,
it
like,
doesn't show their like their other side.
yeah, their glazing
Yeah.
side for Othello.
It also
Yeah.
it also shows how like Rodrigo's kind of like Iago's underling kind of because he talks about he has my purse, so he's like giving him a bunch of stuff. He like has all like in charge of all his money. Like he's giving a bunch of stuff so that he can help Iago. That just kind of sets up their relationship for the rest of the play.
You know, like put the money in thy purse. That's a quote Iago says to Rodrigo. Talking about the purse.
Yeah.
Man. Casey, I thought you said you wanted to say something. I thought.
No, I'm okay.
Okay, I actually had one more thing that I did want to say. That's sort of like there was a source that I was reading the other day. That's sort of like, it was an outside source that I was reading, and it's sort of a quote that I was reading from the article says, "Othello is in fact a very central play looking together some crucial Shakespearean themes." So like what I got from that was like sort of like Othello's play is sort of very focused, and it sort of differentiates from like other plays where it's like they sort of go off like other storylines, sort of go about like different like plot lines and sort of like different stories. This play is sort of like really focused on like the main characters and like developing like this story of like really messing with Othello's head. So like, what do y'all like as like about like how focused this play is and how like that can sort of like make people like tune in more and sort of like identify with it more instead of like being like the play all over the place.
Well, I think by like I don't know about like focus. I kind of take that question like in a different way that like it's not like predictable, but it kind of is like Shakespearean tragedies. Like you know what you're getting yourself into when you're reading it, and you know like there's going to be a tragedy. So I feel like looking for this like the key identifiers throughout the play that are going to lead up to the tragedy are like it like keeps you as like the reader like focused because you're like oh like this like it always keeps you like on your toes, like you're always ready. Like
That was actually-
that was great.
looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah, that was good. Thanks, Sam. I think viewers will really like that answer and really identify with it.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of B plots in this play, like I said, which really keeps it focused. I mean, I think that might also be because it is a tragic play, and not really a comedic play, because comedic plays there's a lot more like shenanigans happening. This is a tragic play, one of Shakespeare's tragedies. It's really focused on this one guy and all the problems that he's having.
Mm-hmm. So, Burley, what did you sort of grab from like our reading of Othello?
Well, from the first scene, one of the quotes that I saw was when Othello said, "Not I must be found. My parts, my title, and my perfect soul shall manifest me rightly. Is it they?" So Othello, in this quote, he's very confident that the qualities that he has will make it so that everything works out for him. So all the stuff that he does, all the qualities he has will make it so that he'll be able to work things out against people who are like against him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I mean, I chose this quote because it shows it's like the first glimpse at Othello's personality, and it shows how it will change a lot throughout the play. So this is the beginning before anything bad happens to him, any of the bad stuff happens.
I think that it's also like sort of like you were saying, sort of highlights sort of Othello's character now, and sort of contrasts to, like his confidence is like, and his like sort of arrogance and sort of his confidence in himself now is sort of like contrasted later when he's like taken like advantage of, manipulated, and so like even though he's that confident, he was like that easily manipulated, and he like doesn't really know, and so that's like sort of his blinding factor.
Yeah.
It's that same quality. So that's also what I got from that.
Yeah, it like contrasts his later qualities, but it also sets up how he will be manipulated and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, Casey?
I have a quote that like relates to Iago's manipulative behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So, I watched the play, so it might be a little bit different from the reading, and it's like, so Iago was talking to Roderick. He was like, "Stash thy money in your purse," and in the scene that I was watching, it was like Rodrigo. He's like in a pensive state. He's just thinking. He's like, and
Yeah.
then Iago's like in his ears, like, "Stash thy money," and like this repetition just really shows like how he gets his way of to people, because he's like constantly feeding it to him. He's just repeating that freaking sentence. He's like just keeps saying it, and like that will like overcome whatever he's thinking, because he's just being like in the ear, and then it's like in the brain instead of like out the ear, because he's thinking. You know what I mean?
So what was the question? Or was it just analysis?
This is just a
Oh, I like that was
like
like
your thoughts on like the
yeah,
scene.
that was like
a
good
detail that
analysis.
I
Yeah,
detail
yeah,
that
yeah.
you know I was like this struck me to my core. It's like it's very representative of Iago's manipulative.
Yeah, it makes it like vivid, like you can like see it. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Like,
and I did see it because I was watching the play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Going
yeah.
sort of off what Casey said, sort of like Iago's actions and his manipulation, sort of towards the beginning of the play, sort of Iago and like Rodrigo are sort of like, you know, sort of conspiring, and they're sort of like talking to Brabantio. Is that how you say his name? Brabantio. Brabantio.
I think it's Brabantio, right?
Brabantio. Okay, well
BRA.
that's Desdemona's.
Weird.
Okay.
Desdemona's father.
That's Desdemona's father, and so they're sort of like jabbing at him and like jabbing at Othello, trying to make it like him like the dad like not like him. And so basically, one of like the quotes I was interested in talking about was when it said, "Your heart is burst, you have lost half your soul, even now, very now, an old black ram is tupping your white ewe." So basically, in that scene, it's like Iago sort of jabbing at Othello, because he's calling him like a black ram is tupping your white ewe. It's sort of like because Desdemona and Othello are sort of like together, and so they are together. Thank you, Chrissy. They are together, and Othello is black, and so he's sort of like jabbing like a racist comment at Othello, and sort of saying like, also like implying like this like animalistic like nature sort of like this guy is taking your daughter. So I think that was sort of interesting to another like version of manipulation,
Yeah.
especially with animal imagery.
Hey, I was gonna go.
Wait, mine is relating to the racist remarks. So before they like talk to Othello, or especially Iago, he has like this fake personality, right?
Yeah, that's what
He's like calling him a Moor, and I like that's kind of like a slur, because you know it's making fun of his skin color. But then the moment he like sees Othello in the flesh, he's like, "Oh my lord!" He's like the D1 glazer for Othello, right? And it's like this two-faced thing that like it's a theme, I suppose, because
The start of the manipulation.
yeah, it happens a lot, like the fakeness, and I think that's surprising. And then like
Why do you
like
think? Why do you think it's so surprising?
Because it is, and then also it can relate
big
to
switch
people,
up.
this can have an impact too on people who are viewing it now, because they can see it with the people that they hang out with. You know what I mean?
You experienced this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
people. This is how people can relate to the story when they see the Two-Face thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, yeah, it's, it's the play shown. It's like a analogy like to the world. Like, not everyone's gonna be like how they are in front of you. So I agree.
A little back.
Another thing with that
Backstab.
quote that he
Two-Face.
had, he
the white U.
he compares Desdemona to a white ewe, which usually like lambs, like spotless, innocent, that kind of thing.
Like Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Jesus.
Jesus.
Like
So
Jesus.
things like religion. That's cool.
And then comparing Othello to a black ram, like a black sheep. It's also like
So
an expression,
racist.
like a black sheep, someone who is an
Below.
outcast, outsider. And also, it's more of the themes of using animal imagery to describe Othello. There's a lot of that in the first scene, especially.
Mm-hmm. Same.
No, I completely agree with that. It's I guess I'll just build off of that. Like he like treats him like an animal too. Like, not only does he like describe him as an animal,
Good one.
but yeah, it's he takes
Yeah,
it
sort of
not only
using him for some
figuratively but
means.
also literally. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he's dehumanizing him because of
Yeah.
the difference of his skin color.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like removing his dignity, like it's just like
Yeah,
So terrible.
removing his
Yeah.
humanity. He's not humane anymore. He's not like a
Yeah.
person that you can. He's below him. Yeah.
he's
But
an
in
animal to
reality-
be sort of misguided.
What's the reality?
It's like an opposite thing. Like Othello's like the leader.
Yeah. But in reality, yeah, it's really he's above.
He's
but
the big
yeah.
dog. But Iago's like, man, I'm such a loser. I gotta bring him down to my level.
Yep.
Yeah,
Iago's a loser, right, guys?
So
right, guys?
Iago is a loser. Yeah.
Right, guys?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
guys?
it is.
Yeah.
Casey, any more quotes that you sort of came to mind?
I have a quote.
Ooh, I have a quote. So there's a quote. I think Barbancio says this. He said, like, our bodies are gardens, to which our wills are gardeners, and it shows like the only way to become like a better person is if you have like a good will. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
if you have goodness, then you like spew out goodness. But if you're bad, then you like give out badness. You feel me?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's why this play has like been like sort of like widely like really like liked. It's one like more like Shakespeare myth plays is because it's sort of just like that contrast from good to bad and sort of like that life lesson of how we can be better in our today's society. So I think that's why people really identify with this play.
Or is Iago? My bad.
Oh, okay. I mean, you said you had
I have another quote.
What is it?
So Othello, when Brabantio is accusing him of like stealing his daughter or whatever, Othello tells the Duke guy, he says, "I do beseech you, send for the lady to the Sagittary," which is Desdemona, "and let her speak of me before her father. If you do not find me foul in her report, the trust, the office I do hold of you, not only take away, but let your sentence even fall upon my life." So this quote, this is Othello. He's talking to the Duke, and he's telling him, he's refuting Brabantio's claim that he stole her. He says that if she were here, she would say that Othello, she does love him. So this just shows a little more of Othello's personality. He's very confident, and it establishes the relationship that he has with Desdemona, which is very trusting. They obviously love each other, which will be, another thing that will be conflicted later in the play.
Mm-hmm.
And it also, I mean, he knows, he's so confident in her that he's like risking it, like telling them if she doesn't, then they can kill him. He's that confident, so that they have a deep bond, which will be broken later in the play.
What a silly goose.
Yeah. I have like a question for y'all, just like open. You don't really have to aim it if you don't want to, but like I was just like asking. I really want to ask y'all, what do y'all think of like Rodrigo? Because like
I
he's
think
sort of
he's
like
a loser.
gullible, like letting
He's like-
Iago like
Yeah,
he's a
he's like the I don't know, like, I don't want to say it like this, but he's just like the loser like in society
He's like the
that you
punching
think
bag.
of. He's like, yeah, he's like
Yeah.
gullible.
he's just
yeah.
another.
Oh, I have Eureka. I have a quote.
You
So in the
did?
play, or the Othello video that I watched, it was like from the 1965s or with the Lawrence dude.
Mhm.
There was like a fight scene where Rodrigo was like drunk and he's like I'm not drunk, and he's like started beating people, and then like Othello sees him, and Desdemona's there
Cassio,
too,
I
right?
think. Cassio's drunk.
Oh,
Oh, Cassio's drunk?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. One of them's drunk, right? And it's like,
yeah, you're right.
he's like, there's this quote that really stuck out to me. It's like about reputation. It was reputation is immortal, and that makes sense because like that's reputation is what people look after you because your body can like die, right?
yeah, your honor, yeah.
Yeah, like your honor.
Mm-hmm.
See it, and like it's kind of eye opening because you never think about reputation. You usually think about like how good you were.
Yeah, I agree with that. That quote I saw earlier was, "Men should be what they seem," and I think whenever you think about that, you think about their reputation. Not only how that's how someone comes across. That's how you judge someone. That's like if someone like is true to their word, if like their morals, like that's like how you judge them, how you talk to them, how you like make like relations with them. So I think reputation is. I agree.
Yeah, I
And
think.
about that quote, Othello fires Cassio. He like gets rid of him as his commander, which shows like he feels very strongly about this, and he has a lot of these strong opinions that Iago takes advantage of in order to manipulate him, get everything he wants. Because Iago's the one who got Cassio drunk, and he caused him to get demoted. So this is about Othello, but it's also about how Iago.
Yeah, I think
Really
reputation was definitely viewed a little bit differently back then. It's more like honor and sort of like your status. Today it's just about like sort of like first impressions and sort of like how you carry yourself. But it was definitely different back then. I definitely want to go back to like another thing I sort of saw and sort of just talking about Iago again. Sort of it's a quote that said, "Trifles light as air. Are the jealous confirmations strong as proofs of holy writ?" So it's basically like Iago sort of revealing his plan of how he sort of want to like really like put into like suspicion his plan of like deceiving Othello and sort of like just furthering like Othello's suspicion that Desmond is like sort of cheating on him. And so sort of like Othello's handkerchief that he like gave to Desdemona sort of like not sort of what's his name, Iago hides it like and put it say in Cassio's room, sort of like stage like more evidence that like Desdemona is cheating and sort of just further sort of try to trick Othello into thinking that they're cheating and sort of drive the ending of the play, which is that Othello kills her. But I think that's just another like really like the lengths that Iago really will go for his hatred is just crazy. What do y'all think about that?
It's crazy how Iago's this like jealous or upset about him because it's never like explicitly stated in the play
Like, why?
why he's mad. Like
Exactly.
why is he so mad?
Yeah, why?
What's his deal? You know,
He's a hater.
he's
Yeah.
the one hater,
Yeah, he's a hate.
What
Yeah.
a goober.
varsity hater.
Varsity.
What was
Yeah.
the question again?
Why is he
Well,
a
I
hater?
was just talking about how like like the lengths that he'd go to for his like hatred for Othello, but like it's never really explicit like the backstory of his hatred like the
Probably
source.
jealousy. Yeah.
Probably just because he's a racist.
Yeah,
Maybe,
jealousy, racist.
Yeah, maybe because they only like Othello like got like wasn't he like was he like commander or lieutenant or something? Maybe
Yeah,
he was
like
one of
the
the
he
general
was
generals
like
or something.
Was
was
he the
very high
general?
up. I think he might have
He
been
was
general.
one of the bigger types.
Because he was above lieutenant, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
he
general.
was. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Sam.
Yep.
Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I completely agree with that. It's
Yeah.
jealousy. It's like looked on like if you're like you have a job, you have a position, someone gets a promotion instead of you, you're gonna be angry. It's just human nature, but you don't take it to like extreme lengths,
Yeah.
But like you're gonna feel like there's gonna be like a knot in your stomach. You're gonna feel bad.
Yeah. Also, I guess I wanted to talk about one more thing. Anyway, there was also another. Like I said, I was like reading something earlier about Othello, and another sort of article I came by talked about how like, and it says like throughout history of like Othello criticism, some readers have understood the play as a triad of nobility, purity, and villainy. Yet and that's like what they talk about. Yet Othello does not share Iago's motive for action. Sort of talked about like even though it's like a story about like Iago's the villain, sort of like Othello was like the victim of manipulation. It's not just a story about like purity and nobility and villainy, and because like Othello and Iago sort of like they shared similar like drives. Like they were both like really like confident and like knew what they wanted to get done. Sort of like even though Othello didn't know he was like he didn't know he was getting manipulated, he was still confident in like his actions, sort of like Iago was. So even though it's like villainy, like victim, it's still like not cut and dry. Cause they're still very similar. So what do y'all think about that?
Yeah, I mean, Othello is definitely like a good victim for Iago because he has all these very strong emotions. He's very reactionary. A lot of Shakespeare tragedies feel like they could be solved if the people just talk to each other. Like if they just asked what was happening, they would instantly know what's
going on.
All Iago's doing.
Yeah, they don't really communicate, but that's why they created the book.
That's why
That's what makes it so tragic.
Yeah, because
I
it would have
think-
been so easy
I
to
think-
not kill like 5 people.
I
Yeah.
think this also like relates to society now. Like a lot of people say like, oh, communication's so easy, but yeah, a lot of people don't like communicate about their problems whenever they're talking to other
Yes.
people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Says a lot about
Communication is definitely different now. It's definitely like when you're texting, you sort of don't know like the tone and stuff.
Yeah,
don't
like you
the-
can't
can
understand their
definitely be-
emotion behind the words.
It's definitely about like sort of how you interpret things now. But yeah. Sort of Casey, do you have any last minute words of wisdom that you want to
Share it to the world.
I think this play holds a lot of value to society now because of like jealousy, the two-faced thing, the lack of communication. Like even though this play is so old, it just holds so much value because like this is like the extreme versions of what happens if like you obtain these foul natures, and I think it's just like great to see, and it's like the play itself is very
I agree with that.
Great.
Makes you ask the question like, do humans really like change? They really evolve? Or it's just like the same problem, same. Sure, it's like different time, different setting, different but like it's still like the same problems that
same
everyone
concept.
like experiences today. So like I think that's like the great thing about Shakespeare as well, is like it relates to everyone. Like no matter like what you've gone through in your life, like no matter like what's gotten you to where you are, like you can still relate to the play in some way, one like or another.
Yeah, I think every single one of his plays definitely has something different, some type of lesson definitely to add that sort of can relate to some type of issue with the time period that people are reading it in. So for sure, definitely. Brody?
Yeah, I have some more quotes. Another one about Othello, like being very reactionary and strong feelings. Is when Iago suggests that Cassio is sleeping with Desdemona, he says, "Oh, that the slave had 40,000 lives. One is too poor, too weak for my revenge. Now I do see 'tis true. Look here, Iago, all my fond love, thus do I blow to heaven. 'Tis gone. Arise, black vengeance, from the hollow hell." A little bit of an overreaction, I'd say. He just takes Iago's word for this. Another thing in this play, everyone is just so trusting of Iago. Everyone's
Yeah.
like,
They're so blinded by
Iago, you must be lying, because Iago would never lie to me.
Yeah.
Even though that's
Yeah.
like all he does in the whole show. He just lies to everyone.
Yeah, I think something that would be interesting is if obviously it's too late. Like Shakespeare's obviously dead, but if some writer or whatever made like a prequel to it to see because I feel like a lot about Iago's kind of it's like you don't really like in
His
a way,
drive.
yeah, you don't like know why he does what he does in a sense. Like you have like a genuine like idea, but like
Yeah, sort of
his
what
like
Brody
previous
said.
life, yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Casey, I thought I saw you like starting to talk. I
Did you have another idea?
I thought I heard another idea coming along. Or not.
I'm turning up, but
Oh, really?
it's not coming out.
I just thought like one last sort of thought. Like, what do y'all think of like the relationship between like Brabantio and like his like daughter? Like, what do you think like that relationship is like in reference to like the time? Like, do you think that it's like? What do y'all think of that?
I mean, he's obviously very controlling of her, but I mean, you know, about the time period, that's pretty standard around this.
He's also being.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also just being overprotect. Like it's being like loving in a sense. Like
Yeah, like their version of love.
Because
Yeah.
in this time period, daughters were
Like,
I
to
mean,
get married.
they were a way
They
to
were
get money
sold.
for marriage.
Yeah.
Like,
Sold.
They'd marry a rich man, and then get money for the family.
Yeah.
If I
Sold.
was a rich girl. Mm,
Yeah, that's a different.
yeah, it's a,
Like the culture is
Fuller
different,
on
so
the
the
roof.
love is different.
yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, I think Sam had one more final comment
Yeah.
to say, and I think
Yeah.
like like just like to wrap
I
things
can
up.
tell
sort of, like-
already it's gonna be really profound.
Yeah.
He told us before he's
no,
gonna
I
come
think
out.
ready,
I think
I'm ready
Sam's
for it.
all out of comments.
Oh really?
That says a lot about the play.
Really?
It just left me
It's-
speechless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the biggest takeaway I could take is like how effective it was, just representing society now, these specific normals of like just those foul natures of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of relevant themes that still stand even today.
Very relevant.
The jealousy, the controlling, there's. You guys have any other themes that you?
Well, maybe there's not.
Racism's
Racism.
big.
That's
Yeah.
a theme. There's a theme.
Even
with
though-
that in
even
this.
though-
Casey, you work on
Like-
that.
I think it's also interesting to think about how like you like back then like racism was such a big thing, but even like today
It's
like
very normal.
it's still it's like you open up like Instagram or whatever, it's like it's just become like I don't know, it's just like
There's a lot
it's
of
like
people
everywhere. I don't
going
know.
against it, but there's a lot of people who still do it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the only difference. Like, the amount that's caused of racism is still here, but there's just more resistance to it. You know what I mean?
but the
It's like all these topics are still relevant nowadays.
it's like we're in a book and the themes are still present. It's just a
Yeah.
long history.
Mm.
What if the motifs are just forever?
Yeah.
Mm.
I
I think Shakespeare's a legendary writer.
yeah, I think
Philosopher.
Hmm.
I agree with that.
That's why the plays are still.
Yeah, I think
still
that's why like,
taught.
it's really a big theme of like human nature, and like yeah, I don't know what you did there, but yeah, what do y'all think that just really says about like this like this play really says about human nature? Like, what do you think it says?
I mean, it says that people are very emotional creatures and very easily made to think things that they shouldn't think by people who are good at that.
Yeah, well that's Mr. Brown. That was my old English
Mm.
teacher.
So-
Tell me everything I know.
And on that note, that's about all the time we
Thanks
got.
for streaming into our podcast. Don't forget to tune in next week.
Don't
to
forget
see
to
our
give
next
us a
play.
100, please.
Subscribe.
Please give us a 100,
100.
please give us a 100, please give us a 100, please give us a 100, please give us a 100.